Welcome to the Lindsay and Tony podcast, where we talk about spirituality, business, and life experiences.
In this podcast, we're bringing our private conversations to you.
We believe that it's through discussion, action, and reflection that true change occurs. Hello and welcome to episode 24, How to Have a Meaningful Romantic Relationship. In this episode, you will learn all about the ways to have a fulfilling romantic relationship and how to learn from your past relationships to make sure your current or future relationship is successful. So we hope that you enjoy the show. Hi guys, welcome back. We're so excited that you're here. Today's episode is all about meaningful relationships. So whether you're in a relationship and you want to maintain that successful relationship, or you're trying to figure out how to bring in these meaningful romantic relationships. So it's strictly about love today.
Yes, and I never thought I would do a podcast episode on love, but this is like a huge need, I think, because a lot of people struggle with this area in their life, with relationships. And what better day to make this episode on than our wedding anniversary?
Yeah, we figured that out after we decided to do this episode. I'm like, wait, this is actually, we knew it was our anniversary, but when we thought of the topic, we thought, oh my gosh, yeah, now we definitely have to do this.
Yeah, because this is our third episode recording today.
Yeah.
So we had to come up with, a few different topics, and this randomly came across, and it kind of connected. What better day
I know, and
today?
I'm thinking that we did this before, but we never actually did. We were planning on doing it so it would come out on Valentine's Day, and that didn't happen, so it worked out perfectly. But I feel like we do different things in our relationship. Wait, before I even continue, I wish I had a big sign that said disclaimer up right here, because I want people to know that just because we're giving you this advice doesn't mean that we have a perfect relationship. So that's the first thing that I want to say, right?
Yes.
We're constantly growing and learning. But I feel like somehow the things that we do in our relationship breaks up the monotonous moments of a typical relationship. So you can do that yourself. You can actually have a fun relationship if you really do things to change up different things in your life. So for us, it's never boring.
Right. So, and just to piggyback off what she was saying, we don't have a perfect relationship. But what we are really good at is limiting the conflicts. So we have probably all the same exact conflicts as everybody else, even people who struggle in the relationship. The difference between us is with an argument, we won't let it drag on for days. It might drag on a couple hours, and Lindsay might need her space. I need my space. But we learned over time to speak our truth and kind of squash it in that moment, not carry it from day to day. So I think that's a huge factor.
Yeah, it is.
In a successful relationship compared to one that is not successful.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the interesting thing is, in the past with my relationships, if I had a problem, I would want to solve it right there in that moment. And I was the person like, no, let's deal with this right now. And now Tony is actually the one in our relationship where he's like, no, let's talk about this right now. I'm like, give me 10 minutes. Like, please, just 10 minutes. Get away from me for 10 minutes. He's like, no, we need to talk about it now. So it's kind of interesting how relationships in life could really be, if we take it as lessons, it could really help us if we start to learn from past relationships. But also in current relationships, you can learn different strategies and ways that each of you want to do something. So we do kind of have a balance, sort of. When it's in the moment, I think it's tough. But then when we take a breath and we think about, okay, wait a second, let's just calm down and think about what the situation really is. And normally, if we're bickering, it has to do with food. So we haven't ate. And we're usually having one of those moments where we just want to explode. And we're like, oh my gosh. And then I'm like, did you eat? Or Tony will say, did you eat? So we know when it comes up. But I actually wrote some things down because I feel like there are different lessons that can come up with relationships. And I think, Tony, you cover the first one that I wrote down was saying things in the moment. So if something's upsetting to you, if you are in a relationship, call it out right there. do not wait for something to continue to manifest over and over again until you explode and say what's going on. And as I'm talking, I know people watching won't be able to see this, but people listening, you might be able to visualize it. So we both have cups on the table. Look, there's a smiley face from the water.
Oh, that's funny.
It's a perfect smiley face on the table. And I had to point that out. But I think, so I guess we're doing the right thing by doing this episode today.
Yeah, it was meant for today.
Yeah. But I think saying things in the moment is the most important thing, because if you do let things carry on, then it just won't be good.
Yeah, and if you let it carry on, it gets more cloudy. And basically what you were just saying is like, we're really good at being honest.
Yeah.
About what really happened. Like, not what we thought would happen. Because a lot of times you'll think you see a situation how it is, and when you're mad, you see it that way. And it really seems that way. But whenever you let the dust settle, which we're really good at. So we leave each other, we let the dust settle, and then once it settles, we see, like, I own up to it. I see, like, wait, I was being an asshole. Or whatever it was. Like, honestly, like, I'm really good at being honest about it. Maybe not in the moment, I'm not, but then once the dust settles, I know it's a process, and then I'm honest. And Lindsay's really good about that too, so we still mess up, but then we're honest about it.
Yeah.
And then when you work from an honest reality and it's not clouded on both sides, it's so easy to fix at that point, because I just say, sorry, Lindsay, I was an asshole. And her hearing the truth, it unlocks something.
Yeah, it does.
And she's not even...
Like, my energy has completely shifted.
And that's what people want on both sides. Your life partner is going to want that honesty with yourself and with them.
And you know what's interesting? Both of us being empathic people, where we feel and we sense everything, we have to speak what we're thinking, because energetically we will feel what the other person's thinking. So sometimes I'll be in like a moody mood, or Tony will be in a moody mood, and I'm like, what is going on? And Tony's like, can I at least just sit here and not say, I haven't said anything. I'm like, I can feel your vibes. I can feel your energy. So this is like the life of an empath. When you're like so sensitive to the energy, you kind of have to own what your energy is like. And sometimes it means that you have to kind of move out of that room to give the respect of, okay, wait a second, your energy is clouding up this room.
Yeah, which is a huge point to bring up, because your life partner might be an empath, and if they don't know it, it makes it even harder.
Yeah.
Because you walk in and you feel it, they feel how you feel, and then it causes them to act a certain way. And if you understand that they're very empathic and they're sensing these feelings, then you could understand that when you brought your frustration from work home or whatever it was, that was what kind of caused the friction.
Yes.
So you start to see clearly of what it really is, and not, oh, my husband or my wife is being a punk to me tonight.
Or they're upset with
me. Or they're
me.
upset with me for no reason. It was like, no, my energy came in the room, and they're very empathic. They sensed it, and it caused them to be flustered, because, you know, when you're in your home environment, you let your guard down even more. So you're like even more sensitive to the energy, I believe, because you're letting your guard down. And I remember telling Lindsay a few times, Lindsay, look, when I'm back at home, I need to be able to let my guard down. Like, I can't take it. Like, a few times, I think it was when you were still teaching, and you might have maybe had something in the school that day that you wanted to talk about. And I was like, Lindsay, I have to let my guard down here. I can't take in any more energy. I mean, there's a few days like that.
Yeah, I remember.
In the past.
And I wanted to be heard, but he was like, I can't. And at the time, I was really annoyed and frustrated because I wanted to talk to him about it. But then I started to realize I understood. Like, there's a certain time where you can talk about things. And sometimes it's actually healthier to go outside the house and take a walk outside. I think that helps us too. When we're taking a walk, moving our energy, like drinking coffee, it makes it more enjoyable to talk about things that are going on. So pay attention to that. It's a simple fix, but I feel like actually shifting your environment and not arguing or communicating just in the home. Like, shift up the energy.
Before we go on, I was going to say, should we go into, because this is all about how to attract the ideal life partner and then how to maintain it. So let's go share our story, how we attracted each other.
Yeah. But can I say one thing that I was just thinking of too?
Yeah.
I was thinking, well, we talked about if you're already in a relationship, what you're dealing with. But if you haven't attracted this person yet, it's important to say it like it is from the beginning. So if you're going on a date with a person, don't hide information about your spirituality if you're afraid to share that with them. Don't hide who you are as a person. You might as well get it out on the table, because if they're going to want to be with you the way that you really truly are, that's perfect. It will save you some time and aggravation from dealing with hiding that part of yourself. So I would say it in the moment. That's the huge lesson. Okay. Now it's something that's been on my mind, so I have to get it in before he...
No, that is true. You want to be honest from the beginning. And if the person's upset about your spirituality or whatever beliefs you have, I mean, and you can't communicate it out, I mean, you're probably not good to be together anyways. No. You don't have to agree on everything. It's just being able to, like, be okay. Like, I'm okay if Lindsay doesn't believe what I believe.
Yeah.
We you just kind of sense different things out. You got to be okay with that.
Yeah. We usually believe the same thing, though.
Yeah, that's what you'll find. I mean, for the most part, like the foundational beliefs, we believe the same thing. There's a lot of things we do disagree on, but those are minor. But like the foundation, like spirituality, our views on money, our views on like a lot of different things that's foundational in life, we have the same outlook. So it makes things a lot easier whenever you develop your mindset. So let's talk about that, because when you develop your mindset, basically here's what it is. You attract into your life who you are. So like if you want to attract somebody who is faithful and honest and living in their purpose, well, guess what? You have to be doing those same things on a daily basis, because then you'll attract it. So basically, if you want to attract somebody who has the same mindset as you, or who has like a developed mindset, it's important that you continue to develop your mindset.
Exactly. And that's actually what happened to us.
It is. And another thing is to look, before I met Lindsay, I was not looking for a girlfriend. I didn't have a desire for a girlfriend. The only desire I had for a girlfriend or a wife was, I would remember telling my friends after I learned about the law of attraction 2 years before I met Lindsay. So in 2008, I met Lindsay in 2010, the end of 2010. Learned about the law of attraction the end of 2008 in October. And once I learned that, I started to visualize, yes, I'm going to have a wife who has the same mindset as me, like believes in the law of attraction, believes we could create whatever we want. And I remember saying that. And I remember I took the advice very well from the law of attraction teachers. I spoke it as if it was already happening. And I felt it as if it already happened. That's the most important thing. I felt it when I imagined it. It's not like I imagined Lindsay. I just imagined and felt the qualities of it. And I felt like it was already done. And at the same time, I didn't care. Honest to God, I did not care when it was going to happen, whether it was 1 year or 10 years. I was more addicted to bettering myself, because I remember this guy at the gym I used to work out with in 2008, like around October and November, right after I learned about the law of attraction. He was in there, and I wish I could get a hold of this guy. If you're watching this, I forget your name. He was African American, 6 foot tall, and me and him bonded so well. But it was one of those things that I left school and I didn't end up seeing him at the gym again, because he'd only go a couple days a week. But anyways, he asked me a question. He's like, all right, because I would teach him the law of attraction when I was learning about it. He was like, so how do you attract the perfect girl? And when I was at the gym, I didn't have an answer for him, because I didn't know. I was like, it caught me off guard. I was like, wait. I was like, I don't even know what I said. So I went and researched it later that night. And then I found my answers. You have to become the perfect, or whatever, the ideal person that you see that you want to attract. You have to become that. So once I got that reality, I started focusing only on that, and without the attachment of when am I going to attract my wife.
And you got really clear on it.
Very clear on it, very confident that it was going to happen. It was just like, it may not come as confidently as it did for me. Like for me, honestly, like it came very natural. I don't know why. Yeah. For you, it may be a struggle. Maybe you have mental, we'll call them mental blocks. Maybe you have like stuff in your unconscious that's blocking you from really believing that you could attract the ideal partner. So you have to work through that. But the main thing to focus on is developing yourself, and understand by doing that, you'll naturally attract the perfect partner when the timing is right. And trust in the timing. And trust in the universe. Trust in God, whatever you want to call it.
Yes. And to add on to that, if you could make a list of the partners that you have had in your life, maybe they're not the perfect partner, obviously, because you would be with them right now if you thought that they were the perfect one for you. But you can actually take the names of those people and pick out your favorite characteristics from each of those people. Maybe one of them had a sense of humor and you would love that in a partner, but maybe you didn't like the way that they were controlling. But you can choose, okay, I like that sense of humor in this person. Next person, you go down the line. What else did you like about the next person? So pick out the relationship character traits that you absolutely loved in the previous partners. If you had things that you liked about them, I'm sure you had something that you liked. And you can feel that feeling again. Because that's the fastest way, I think, to pull that feeling in is by human experiences. Or maybe your friend has a partner that you think, oh, I would love to have a little piece of, the sense of security with this person, or the sense of someone that would really know how to fix a car. I'm just making this stuff up. You can get very specific.
It's not me. I don't fix cars.
No, he doesn't fix cars, but he has other awesome qualities. But you can actually get very detailed with that and get very clear on what it is that you want. But also, like Tony said, the biggest thing is to really focus on yourself and kind of bring those qualities out in yourself. I'm not saying you have to go learn to fix a car, but the character traits of being an honest person, being in integrity, speaking your truth. If you're not wanting someone needy, then you become more independent and do those things to cause you to be more independent. Maybe it's going on a day trip by yourself, but line things up to make you feel as though you can stand in that power and feel comfortable with being alone while being yourself and enjoying time with yourself. I think that's a big thing.
That's a huge thing, because that's a huge skill that you're going to need if you are going to have a successful marriage or relationship. You need to have the skill of knowing how to be alone, and knowing what to do to recharge your brain and recharge your body when you are alone. So it's best to develop those skills before you get into the relationship, so you already have them as a go-to. Like me and Lindsay, we both had those skills. We were both independent people. And how did that happen? Well, we attracted each other because we're both independent people. If you want someone who's independent and like that, it's best that you become that now. I'm not saying that for those of you who are in a relationship right now, you could both grow together.
Right.
And that's the thing. If you both are on the same page, which unfortunately is rare, I'm finding out.
Yeah.
But if you are, then you can grow together, and you could grow into a beautiful, a better relationship. You could grow your relationship. You don't have to go look for somebody else. If you feel the need that you need to look for somebody else, that's a whole nother story. You have to go with that. But understand that it's all about, even if you're in a relationship or if you're not in a relationship, it's all about really focusing on what you could change about yourself for the better.
Yes. And when you just said that, Tony, it reminded me of some people listening might think, well, I'm in a relationship and I want to grow and I want things to change, but maybe my husband or my wife doesn't want to do that. So what your focus now is to really focus on you getting better. And then what's going to happen is they're going to feel a shift in you. You don't even need to tell them what you're doing. You could be reading books or really enjoying your time by yourself. And they're going to pick up on that shift in energy. They're either going to really enjoy it and they're going to like it and think, ooh, I want to change too. Ooh, I want to exercise more because it seems like she's doing these things. Or they're going to feel uncomfortable, which most likely they'll feel uncomfortable at first. Then they'll probably come around. So just start with you. That's the big thing. Yeah,
and the big thing is not to be attached to how they react to what you're doing, because like Lindsay said, at the beginning, they probably will act a little funny. Because you're changing and you're forcing them to change. People don't like change, so then they act funny, that resistance. So just focus on the habits and continue to do them. The working out, taking care of your body, reading or listening to podcasts, listening to stuff that's going to help you with your career and your development of your personality, and really everything you're doing is really pulling more of who you are out of yourself. So that's what you're focusing on with these habits. And when you pull more of who you are out of yourself, the other person is going to feel it, because it's going to be a higher vibration. And it'll either cause them over time to run the other way, or they're going to come with you. If they run the other way, you can't control that.
Right.
Yes, is it sad? It is sad. Is it painful? Yes. If you have kids together, it's even more painful. But look, it's better to live genuinely who you really are and fulfilled and happy
Yeah.
than it is to live like a fake life.
Exactly. And I think the happiness is the biggest part. If you do the things that actually make you happy and have fun, that's so important. So don't focus so much on fixing yourself, but enjoy doing what you're doing. If you want to add a podcast in there, like Tony said, I think that's beneficial to always grow and get better, but also add fun in there. Because when you're having fun, that's when your frequency changes too. That's just as powerful as learning from someone else how to have fun. Just do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's the thing. And yes, you it's all about having fun. Like life's about having fun. But if you're at a point to where if you're honest with yourself and you need to do some more mindset development or whatever, then it is a go-to, because I found like when I wasn't all the way, I wouldn't say right in my mind, but like kind of I had a lot of stuff in my unconscious. I wasn't able to enjoy things.
That's true.
Really, like I remember the first year I moved to Florida, like we started traveling more than I ever traveled in my life in that first year.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. And I had different moments where I was in the present moment, but I remember looking back in that year, it was like I couldn't really appreciate the moment because unconsciously I didn't feel that I deserved it. Mm-hmm. So if you don't feel you deserve certain things, then there's something internally that only you can figure out what that is.
That's so.
And I feel like it's unlocking and releasing it,
yeah.
really.
And I didn't understand it when he wasn't fully enjoying. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're in beautiful, wherever it was. But he's like, you don't understand. Like, I'm in a new place and it's brand new. I started to get it after. I didn't realize, though, how much I understood it until after you came out of it. That feeling. And I know that feeling. It feels uncomfortable when you're in a new space.
Yeah.
The other thing that I put was add humor. We are constantly laughing. Like, even on the podcast, I don't know why, but the things that Tony says, just energetically, I start laughing because I know the other side, people that are listening to the podcast might think you're funny too, but I really think you're funny because I just know the goofy things that you do. And we do things like changing our voice. It naturally came up where there are some times where we both change our voice. It sounds crazy.
I always do, like cartoon characters.
Yeah. And
a lot of times I do it to like diffuse. I do it because I have fun with it. Like it's just who I am, and it diffuses the tension.
It does.
It's like a neutralizer. It's like if you're in sales, like you can't make a sale to somebody until you neutralize their mind.
Yeah.
And if there's tension in the house, we can't really connect until our minds are neutralized. And I feel like humor really neutralizes the mind. So like if I start and I break out into a dance and start talking like a cartoon character,
then I can't stop laughing. Like I cannot be mad at him when he does that stuff. I'm also laughing at one time. I remember, I don't even know the argument. It was something stupid probably. But Tony wrote me a note. You left me a note. I don't know if it was on the kitchen table or someplace
I don't
in the
remember.
house. And I opened up the note after I was like really annoyed with him. And I remember being like very frustrated where I wasn't in the mood to talk to him at all. I opened up the note and it had like this whole big thing, and then he said, "Love the guy laying on the couch." And I was like, I was dying laughing. It was during the daytime. It wasn't at night. It was, you were sitting on the couch. You're like, "Love the guy sitting on the couch." And I'm like, how can I be mad at him? Yeah. And so these little things that, are said, the little phrases actually break up the tension.
It does. And Lindsay does like her Pee Wee Herman voice. And then every morning she'll sing different songs in the morning, and we're just like big kids all day long.
That's
like
true.
A lot of you probably see us on video and stuff, and a lot of times we are serious with what we're talking about because we really care about what we're talking about. But behind the scenes, like really, we're like big kids and really goofy, and a lot of that is because it's fun for one. We have fun with it, and without it, it's really hard to coexist, I feel like, with people. Like if you don't have humor in your life, in your household, especially like with your partner, and everything's always serious, like that would be, I don't think that could really thrive. No. Like that's not good. Like you have to, like, even with money, with finances, with anything, like you have to add humor into it and break it up to where it's not like so serious.
Yes. And we actually have different names for things. This naturally came up. I don't know if I created it before I met you, Tony, or what. But even like paying bills, like I love doing that stuff. Like we both love it and we call it donations.
Yeah.
And we probably talked about this in another episode, and like I talk about it with my business and my psychic business.
So we're donating to Sprint.
Yeah, we're donating to Sprint for our phones because we absolutely love being on the phone and talking to our friends and family. So it's exciting to pay that donation. We're donating to them. So we change the wording in different things in our life, and it just naturally comes out of our mouth. Like it's almost like an intuitive thing when we communicate with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, the too serious, I put don't take things too seriously. So we already covered that to add humor.
Yep. And that's huge. So is there anything else?
I said to add food because I feel like food is a big thing. And it sounds so crazy to say that. But a lot of the times, whether your blood sugar is, low or whatever, think about the timing that you ate. You might be more sensitive or grumpy at certain times of the day.
So you're saying to like make sure you have a granola bar in your car or in your purse.
I always tell Tony to do
or
that.
wherever.
You need a granola bar. Or maybe you need some sage today. So like there's different things that we use to kind of help shift the energy too. So
should we get into some tips to close this out?
Okay, do I have 1 second?
Yes.
For one tip? Okay. I wrote down whatever you focus on, wherever you're focusing your energy and your intention, that's where the energy is going to flow.
That's a
common
huge,
phrase.
huge one.
So this means if you have an awesome thing that your husband did and you want to share it, whether it's on Facebook or with your family, whatever, doesn't matter if people think you're bragging. I love sharing stuff that Tony does because it makes me happy and it gives people permission to know, oh, I can receive that too. So I share it. And I always talk about cute things that he does to my family or my friends because it just genuinely comes out of my mouth. It's not like I plan it. But on the other hand, you don't want to go around and telling everyone a little minor problem that is very serious in your relationship because that's exactly where their energy is going to flow. And sadly, a lot of people like to hear negativity because they want to know, oh, they're human too. And it feeds that negative thought. Like I actually joke around about like clothes and shoes in the house, but it's like a little thing that.
But not like real issues. We learn to, because we're both responsible here. So some people who have like huge issues, like to where you're getting beat or something like that, of course you tell people.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like issues to where we're just issues we know we could solve and we're going to solve them.
We're not going to sit in the phone and.
I've never told anybody one issue that me and Lindsay had. I don't think I did. I mean, unless it was something minor, like Lindsay said, with socks or just joking. But like, because we solve them.
Yeah,
Once again,
if
it happens that day, like we'll solve it. We don't go post it on Facebook. Oh, I'm mad at Lindsay. Or we don't go and tell our friends. We don't tell our neighbors. We don't tell Dan down the street who would be happy to hear about it. Like we solve it. And then when other people say, well, you and Lindsay sound so happy all the time. You guys fight? I go, of course we fight.
Yeah.
we just solve it. And then I move on. But anyways, we should close this out. And any tips on... We got like 2 minutes.
I always come down to writing things down, getting very clear on your previous relationships. What qualities did you love? Bring that in the present. If you're in a relationship, really focus in on yourself. Do things that you absolutely love. You'll be in a higher vibration. And
I would just say, forget about the relationship.
Yes.
Focus on you. When you visualize... You could visualize a relationship and all that and have fun with it and, do that. But focus, when it comes to the day-to-day stuff, focus on you. Don't think you got to go out and try to meet people and do this. No. Do the things that you love. Go to the places you love, and it'll naturally happen when it's supposed to happen.
Yes, you can never make a wrong choice to find your relationship.
We hope you guys enjoy this episode, and we will see you on...
the next episode.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did. If you liked it, leave a 5-star review on iTunes, and remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel too.
If you can think of anyone else that would love this episode, share it with them right now on social media or email. And remember, getting results is a process of learning, applying, and reflecting. Stay consistent and continue to grow every day.